In this game, there are several players involved, and each of them starts with a village. And the goal is to take over the other villages. In order to do that, you have to build units and upgrade your buildings. In order to do that, you need to acquire resources. And so there are timber camps to produce wood, clay pits to produce clay, and iron mines to produce iron. And building those things takes time. You can see here the next timber camp will require 5 minutes. On this particular map, if the building time reaches 3 minutes, I can click this button here in order to skip those 3 minutes. I can also reduce the building time by upgrading my headquarters, which I am doing now. You can see here the headquarters level 6 is being built. I have a level 5 one already. It takes another 6 minutes. So here's my village, and these are the resources I have up here already in storage, and I'm producing this many resources per hour with the current level buildings. This number here, the 1000, is how many of each type of resource I can store. It's currently 1000. I can upgrade the warehouse in order to store more, but right now I don't need more than 1000 to build anything, so I'm just gonna focus on increasing my resource production and reducing the amount of time by upgrading my headquarters, the amount of time to upgrade things in general. So over here, this button shows the quests that they give you it's mostly for beginners, to explain the process of the ideal sort of path of developing your economy and which buildings will help you construct certain units. I'm a little bit familiar with this game already, so I'm just mostly going to skip through these quests. But on this map, you also receive rewards when you build something. You receive 150 lumber and clay and 100 iron resources. And if you build more than once, it just increases the number of times that you've built that particular building. Later on, these numbers increase. So I can claim these resources, and you can see here there's a warning, there's not enough storage space if I claim all the resources. As I said earlier, I only have a storage capacity of 1000. And right now, perhaps it's clay, that if they give me too much clay, they'll only give me the amount that reaches 1000. So there are also other players in this game. As I mentioned, here's the map that I'm currently playing on. This is my village right here. This is the white dot. That's me. And there are other gray and brown dots. Or here they're circles, brown circles. Those are other real people, real players. And these gray ones, they're barbarian villages. The barbarian villages are operated by computers, and as of right now, you can see here I have beginner protection. I just started this map, and I have beginner protection for 94 hours. This means that none of the other players can attack me. As far as I know, the barbarians can't ever attack, but as of right now, since I have beginner protection, the other players are not allowed to attack me. So this gives me time to develop my strategy, to upgrade my buildings, to build units, and figure out what path I want to take. Now you'll also see here, this barbarian village has 41 points. This one has 35, 26. This is a player, they have 347 points. This one has 120. And I myself currently have 67 points. So the points, as far as I know, I haven't studied this a lot, but they're based on the quality of buildings that you have. And one aspect of this game, on some maps, you can attack the barbarians and you can attack the other players, and sometimes you can take some of their resources. As of right now, because I have beginner protection, I'm not interested in attacking the other players. Well, some of these players also have beginning protection, so I can't attack them. But if I scroll this way, so this one is a little bit transparent and this one is not, I can attack this person right now if I had units. They have 623 points, which is much more than I have right now, 67. So if I had any units, I would probably not survive. Why am I mentioning this? So, the barbarians, I can attack when I have beginner protection. This means I can also, in some maps, take their resources. However, the points that most of the barbarians have, it's quite low, 54, 35, 41. This means their storage capacity is quite low, as is mine. I have 67 points and I can only store 1,000 of each of these types of resources. This means, in my mind, that it's not really worth investing my resources in things like a barracks, which is what you use to produce units, because I'm not really going to get a return on my investment. The amount of resources they can store is only 1,000. There are, however, as we saw earlier, players with 600, 800. I'm sure if I get closer over here to the middle, 400, 800, 1,100. Those players might have a bit more resources. So what I'm going to do within these 94 hours that I have protection from being attacked by other players is focus on my own resources, the amount that I myself am producing without being attacked, or rather, without attacking other players and getting their resources. I'm just focusing on building my own production system. So while I'm building things, and since there's no sounds to critique, which is of course my job as a composer, I want to point out here that I've built a statue, and once you build a statue, you can hire a paladin. And the paladin is kind of like a main hero. Not every map allows you to have a paladin, as far as I know, and in any case, certainly some of them won't allow your paladin to level up, but this one does. And in this case, the paladin has skills they can learn in order to improve the quality of your units or of your production. So right now, I just got my paladin, they're level 1. The default name is Paul. Maybe I will change them to composer. So my composer is currently level 1 and they have no skills. And you can see here they have a certain amount of experience. Right now it's 0, and they gain experience when you build buildings. There might be other ways to gain experience, but I'm not sure. As far as I know, they at least gain experience from building buildings, which I am currently doing. There's another thing I want to show you, which is the inventory. Right here, you can see that there's a skill book for charging. This teaches my paladin, my composer, to use the skill charge, which increases the Axeman's strength. An Axeman is a type of unit that you can build or hire or whatever, and when using this skill, their strength will be increased. When those units are near the paladin, they will have increased strength. So I'm going to teach my paladin this skill by clicking use, improve skill. And when I go back to my statue, you'll see here my charging skill, which is the one that increases the Axeman's strength, is increased by 1 out of 4. You can only increase this skill 4 times. Going back to my inventory, you'll also see that there are other things here. Relocate, which allows me to move to another part of the map. You can only use this once. I tend not to use it. And there are resource packages which give you, in this case, 1% of your storage capacity of each resource. I'm not sure what, 10% for the welcome package. But I don't use these right away because I haven't upgraded my storage capacity. So obviously 1% of 1,000 will be much less than when I later upgrade my warehouse to increase my storage capacity. 1% of that higher number will provide me a total amount of resources which is greater. So I'm gonna wait on that. Okay, so I want to show you another aspect of this game, which is called scavenging. When I click on my rally point in my village, there's a tab here called scavenging, and this allows my units to scavenge, to look for resources. But I have to unlock the ability to scavenge, and this costs resources. So if I click here, unlock, it'll cost 25 wood, 30 clay, and 25 iron, and 30 seconds to be able to begin scavenging. So let's do that. Remember, in this server, you get rewards for building something: 150 lumber and clay and 100 iron. You'll see here the requirements for building some of these buildings is less than that. So my strategy is, when it's less than that, and when the time allows me to skip the production process, I just build any of those things. Even though in the beginning I said I want to focus on production, by upgrading these buildings right away, I get rewards that I can still profit from. So here's a wall. I'll construct the wall. Takes 2 minutes, but since in this map when something is less than 3 minutes, I can skip that. I'll do so. And when I click here, you'll see that in the rewards, I can get 150 lumber and clay and 100 iron for building the level 1 wall. So I will claim those rewards, and do the same thing again. So I'm going to return to my original strategy, which is upgrading these 3 resource producing buildings. And I try to keep them on the same level. The iron isn't as useful in the beginning. As you can see here, in general, the iron costs for upgrading these 3 buildings are less. So what I do is like keep the level of the iron mine 1 or 2 lower than the others. Once I reach, I don't know, maybe level 10. For now, let's just upgrade both. Since I have a free account, I can only queue 1 building behind the one that's currently being upgraded or constructed. And yeah, let's do that a couple more times.